So we're here tonight to celebrate the amazing success that Help Lesotho has had over the past 10 years. As John mentioned, my wife Judith and I have been friends with Dr. Peg Herbert for many, many years. She's the founder and executive director of Help Lesotho. We were her friends before she could spell Lesotho. We've watched this development of this amazing organization grow with great interest over the last 10 years. Actually, I think I was the MC at the first Help Lesotho fundraising event that we had, a small gathering at Michael Potter's house a number of years ago with Stephen Lewis. And even in the years since then, it's incredible how much has been accomplished. I've had, over my various jobs over a number of years, a lot of involvement with both in international as well as domestic NGOs, many of them based in Canada, many of them based elsewhere. And I've come to see Help Lesotho as an outstanding example of best practices in the NGO sector. They're best practices for financial accountability, as well as for their compassionate and effective programming. It's a challenging combination for a small country that most people, if they have heard of it, don't know how to spell it. I can't think of another organization that's grown from zero to helping 10,000 beneficiaries every year, and with such a stellar reputation in both Lesotho itself, as well as in Canada, as well as with international donors, including USAID, Habitat for Humanity, and the UNFPA. It truly is a remarkable accomplishment, and it's worthy of stepping back a bit just to celebrate the success that's been achieved, and together to work to ensure that the future of our current beneficiaries and the thousands of others that have yet to be reached. As supporters of Help Lesotho, many of you will well know that it is impossible to separate the issues of HIV/AIDS from those of gender equity. Women are more vulnerable socially, physically, economically, and culturally than men, as evidenced in the 27% of girls and women between the ages of 15 and 24 who are HIV positive in Lesotho, a staggering number. I want to commend Help Lesotho's focus from the very beginning, which has been on gender equity, on education, and on advocacy with both boys and girls in all of its programs. But I'm convinced that this emphasis on investing in women pays important dividends. And I think I learned that as a minister in the government of Prime Minister Chrétien, even as Minister of Finance, that you get in international development a very strong return, sometimes up to 30 times your investment when your investment is in girls and women. So as the 10th anniversary theme of gender equity attests, with your help, it's possible to empower girls as strong, independent decision makers. This evening you're going to hear some of the highlights as we celebrate the success and about the need to ensure the future as the girls and women, boys and men continue to need our help. And tonight we'd ask you to change her life. There are enough people in this room tonight to make a permanent and enormous difference. In keeping with the 10th anniversary theme, there are 10 incredible Help Lesotho initiatives that will benefit girls and women in Lesotho. As our Lesotho guests will eloquently tell you this evening, these girls and women in the mountains will have no help. They'll have no help if we do not step up. It's very real. Throughout the evening, you will notice the growing wall of photos representing people in this room committing to change her life. Together, we can change the lives of dozens, maybe even hundreds of girls and women tonight, just tonight alone. You can choose to provide emergency support for girls in need, to sponsor a grandmother, or even cover the operating costs of Help Lesotho's Pitsang Center, a place that sees more than 3,000 visits each year from some of the poorest and most isolated people in the world. Or maybe you have the means and the will to do all of it. This evening, we are in the presence of some very special people. Our very special royal guests who've come from so far, a girl and a grandmother to tell us their stories from Lesotho, and Peg Herbert. Nobody hired her to do this. Nobody obliged her to do it. It wasn't a doctoral project for some credit. In fact, when she first told us about it, I thought it was a crazy idea, to tell you the truth. She has driven all of this out of her own personal vision, hard work, and determination. That's a special person. But I'm not letting you off that easily. There's still time for you to visit the Change Her Life booth this evening and add your name to the wall of change, which I guess is somewhere over there. Your Majesty and Your Royal Highness, we particularly thank you for coming all this way to be with us this evening, and Your Majesty for sharing your thoughts with us. We're very honored. We thank Phaleng. We thank Maketiho. I didn't do that right either. Maketiho for sharing their thoughts with us this evening. I know that you join me again in thanking our many sponsors, as well as those who worked so hard to make this evening work: Hilary Evans, Kate Lambert, Laurie Lejeune, and Kevin Eider of the staff of Help Lesotho, the volunteers who were here, and each of you, thank you for coming and making this such a very special event.